Hello, hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to The Roottrees Are Dead. In the last episode, we discovered a rather shocking revelation, the existence of Samantha Roottrees. Now, we were introduced to this character before, Sam. I assumed it was a boy. I assumed that Sam was a boy. However, no, Sam is short for Samantha. And on top of that, Samantha is the illegitimate child of one of Elias's sons. Now, we're not entirely sure which, so it can't be you, because that is Clancy. We know that that's a daughter, and obviously that's a daughter, so it's either you over here or you over yonder. Now, we aren't sure which, but either way, massive bombshell, and there are still more diary entries. There is still more. Yeah, we had read that. Clark. Okay, and let me set my timer going. Lovely jubbly. This is a page of additional notes and context from the 1975 10-year anniversary re-release of Lauren's diary. It is a companion piece to the entry about her son, Clark. Reading this back, I get deja vu. As I write this addendum, Clark's gotten married again. No Roottree has ever remarried. Sure, I lost Jacob and Gwen divorced Wild Bill just before she had her second. Not even I can blame her for that. I've seen what he gets up to in Starlet. But neither of us ever took a second husband. With the way the world is moving, I guess it was inevitable someone in this family would remarry. I just wish it wasn't my son. I can only wonder if Clark's apparent disrespect for marriage is due to the lack of a real father. I did what I could, and Lord knows Eli C. stepped up and helped. More than I can say for Clancy or Edward. Okay. Yeah, there are... I think... God, she mentions... Oh, God, where would this be? It would be... I think it would be here. There are two Elis. Her brother and Miracle's youngest. So... she's... Clancy and Edward are her other brothers. I would assume Eli C is also her brother. Because why would you be talking about two of your three brothers and a random other relative? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, we know that Clancy... So, Lauren is the oldest. Clancy is second. We just don't know who's next in line, Eli or Edward. Okay. I did what I could, and Lord knows Eli C stepped up and helped. More than I can say for Clancy or Edward. Eli C practically raised Eli C is Jim's dad. Okay, thank you. Eli C practically raised Clark and Jim as brothers whenever he could. Eli's marriage seems fine and Jim's marriage seems solid as a rock, pun intended. So who knows what causes these things? I suspect that he's marrying Jane to keep her from running out on the band. Without her, he'd be the third wheel, and I imagine they wouldn't last long as a trio. But still, I don't think a marriage on a shaky foundation like that can last. And Lord knows I was right last time. And you were right again. Lauren. So Eli C, I'm putting that in whilst I remember. So this is Elias C. Okay. And, I want to say you were also in advertising. Yeah, Jim, in one of his interviews or something like that, he mentions my dad's advertising stuff was above the record player. I went straight for the music, but I guess my cousin, Clark, was paying attention to the adverts. So yeah, advertising. I don't know who you were married to, though. That is... We can figure that out later. Wait a minute. If that is Elias, then this is Edward. Edward. That seems a bit... So you're called Clancy Edward. You've named one of your sons Clancy. You've named the other one Edward. That is, a wee bit self-centered, in my opinion, but you do you. You do you. Okay. Okay. Eli C. practically raised Clark and Jim as brothers whenever... Oh, no, wait. Wait, I've read all this. Okay. It is not a companion piece to any specific entry, but addresses feedback. The biggest complaint I got after publishing my diary was how many similar names there are. And I get it, there are 4 Elis for Pete's sake. But that's how it is. Someone would say I saw Eli in town and I wouldn't know which one they meant. My brother, my uncle, my cousin. That's why they became Uncle Junior, or Miracles Eli, or Eli C. Okay. So yeah, we have Elias Jr. And then, okay. My cousin. I swear down, there's been reference to Miracles Boys. Hold. Yeah, I know, you're a girl. And obviously Marguerite. Miracles Boys. Plural. So it... Hello. Hello, Sam. Ooh, occupation. She was given control of the farm. But that's not to say that she's carried it on. She could have sold it. I'm going to put in farmer right now, but I may change that. Which means we have, you married an Ernie. Ooh. Okay, Ernest. And then one of these is Gwyneth, and then Ernie Jr. Also, your dad is... Okay, that would make you Elias Jr. Oh, God, I feel like I should stick to reading and then I can go through my notes again. But I remember you were Patricia. Yeah, Patricia Christiansen. Was Elias the architect? There was someone. Where would that be there? Yeah, architecture firm. So you were an architect. Okay. Okay, we can figure that out at a later point. Okay, back to reading. Yeah, or Eli C. Our family's names were always unusual. Grandpa Elias was a believer in using the names of each generation to honour those in the last. His father and Grandma Gwyneth's father were named Edward and Clancy, so now you see where my pop's name came from. One thing that's always been consistent in our family, though, is that anytime someone's a junior, they're always the firstborn son. That goes for Miracle, Eli, or even Clancy. With the women, however, it all goes out the window. I think Gwendolyn got her name from some combination of Gwyneth and Caroline, who was Elias's mother? Okay. I assume this is Elias, like, founder Elias. I think. Women's names tend to get all mixed up as the generations went on. I guess that's because there's no female equivalent of junior. So if you're reading my diary and confused, you're not alone. Even the government had problems. I remember once receiving certified mail for an Edward Clancy Rootree. I had to break the news that they got my father's name backwards. And then... It's not a companion piece to any specific entry, but rather a fun bonus. Apparently, this is the first thing she could find that she ever wrote. She knows it was for a school assignment about anger, and she believes, based on the teacher's name, she must have been in the 3rd grade. She doesn't exactly remember the event spelled out here, but she does remember getting in trouble. I got angry when I met a new girl who I do not like. She was dirty and did not have a pretty dress. Me and Pop walked home in town and she hugged him. When I told her he was my Pop, she pushed me. I got angry and yelled at her, and Pop said to treat her nice. Then she said, "Your Pop is my dad." She screamed it loud in my ear. She was lying to me, and lying is not a nice thing, so I pushed her too. Then I got in trouble. Then Pop took her away. He told me, "Don't worry. I'm glad she is gone." So potential... Jesus, is everyone having affairs in this family? Like, what the shit? Like father, like son, I guess. Because my first thought was like, oh, I got angry, I met a girl, she was dirty, she didn't have a pretty dress, and she recognised my father, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking, was this like an introduction to Sam? But no, this is... Pop is Clancy Edward. And this girl is identifying him as her dad. And Pop is saying, treat her nice. Yeah, I think you had a... Oh, that would be ironic. Lauren has this obsession with having a sister. She has this obsession with having a sister. She wanted Gwen to be her sister, but Gwen was just very, very different. And then she went, upon realising that Sam was a Roottrie, she was like, oh, if only I'd known, maybe she could have been the sister I always desired. Lauren has this obsession with having a sister. Maybe it originates from here, from this interaction. She does have a sister. And Lauren couldn't just, I guess, reconcile herself with the fact that her beloved father had an illegitimate child. She does have a sister, and it's illegitimate. And I think maybe she's pushed it to the back of her mind. She doesn't exactly remember the events spelled out here. So yeah, I think she's buried this. She's buried this in her subconscious. But that knowledge, I have a sister. I have a sister. My dad cheated on my mum. I have a sister. Not a full sister, I have a sister. And it's played on her mind throughout the years, and it's developed into this thing where she's like, oh, I wish I had one. Not realising that you do. You've met her. You were pissed. You were pissed about it because your dad had an affair. I like that. I like that a lot. That is fun. I'm just like, is there anything? I don't think there's anything I need to highlight. Yeah, I think that's right. You know what? Let me just go through my notes again. Yeah, I haven't added anything there. Yeah, I have that. Founders. Yeah, architects, preachers, and lawyers. Wait a minute. I can actually fill something in here. You have to be a housewife. Because again, we learned before, Gwen was the first woman to not be a housewife. That also means you are a preacher. Okay. Right. Okay. The founders of Gwen. Yeah, okay. Gwen, Jim. Yep, we've filled everything in there. Clark. Everything there. Lauren, you have given me. You have given me so many things. Also, yeah, this has to be Miracle, I think. Oh, we even got where's that old? Yeah. It's a miracle. The flavors are inspired by our children, and M for Miracle Berry. This is quite an odd name. Like, look at these names. Well, to be fair, Marguerite is a bit off, but like Elias Jr., Clancy Edward, Margot, which admittedly this one is a bit odd, but you can shorten it to Margot, which is a very classic name. Miracle. Miracle the Third. One second. I can fill in some things because the junior is always the firstborn son. Now, Eli's youngest, not Eli's youngest. Miracle's the youngest. So that is Elias M. One of you has to be Miracle Third. I would put my money on it being this, because it being that is weird. Maybe Eli wanted to honor his father, and he's like, right. Then again, when you've got like thirds and things, it's generally all in a straight line. I'm the third, my father is a junior, and then my grandfather was the originator of the name. It doesn't tend to be like, oh, I'm the third, my uncle is junior, and then my grandfather. Educated guess says that this is Miracle Third, but I think I'd rather go hunting for proof. I think I'd like to go hunting for proof with that. One second. Edward is taking over their father's department, so I think you are also a lawyer. There we go. And then that's everything there. Zach. You were the firstborn son, but not necessarily the firstborn. Do we have... Oh. Angie. Oh, what is... Angelica. Which would make you... Zachariah Morden. Okay. And I think you were the... second. Need your picture, but... Okay, I am aware I've got a lot of pictures in my evidence, but again, I have a method. I have a method, and we stick to the method. Okay, Sam. Yeah, we've got... I don't know if we have anything for Ernie Jr. and Gwyneth's ages. God, and also it doesn't help that their family trees look so similar. Like, it's not like one of them has multiple kids, or one of them has kids and the other doesn't. Ooh, that's gonna be tricky. That's gonna be tricky. Okay. But no, okay. That's all of my notes. Do we still have... Okay, I said I was gonna get through the notable list, and then we can start looking at all of this stuff. So we have Miracle Jr. Okay, Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, he has shortened it to Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. is a televangelist who is part of the Miracle Network. He used to have a show that aired on local access across many stations in the northeastern United States. According to a website called Clergy Watch, he was exposed and subsequently charged with conspiracy to defraud the public in 1979 when he claimed to heal someone in a wheelchair. A news expose revealed that it was his wife Edith's sister in a disguise. The author also mentions that Edith has a bit of a checkered past herself, but doesn't clarify. He has since lost his television show and instead goes on tour across the southern United States, where he was not well known before the scandal. Oh. Wait, do we have the right... Because Elias... His sons were architects, lawyers, and preachers. Maybe it runs in the family. Preacher. And you have a wife called Edith. Edith Jacobson, okay. Can we have a few things. I don't think I need to highlight them, but I do think I should. Aha! You find a website for the Miracle Network, a production company run by the Miracle Roottrees estate. It's quite bare bones, but has the following blurb. Witness the testimonies of the Miracle's Roottrees. Miracle Roottrees arrived so late in his mother's life that doctors swore he wouldn't survive his first year. His mother and father, Elias and Gwyneth, named him Miracle because they thought him impossible. He was younger than his brothers and sisters by over 14 years, my goodness. With a birth that late, the final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by countless health problems. But still, with the power of God on his side... For a minute, with the power of God and anime... No. With the power of God on his side, he persevered. He triumphed over these complications and then regained his sight to spread the healing word of the Almighty. 23 years later, Miracle Roottrees Jr. arrived and became the famous family's second vessel for the higher power. At 18, he unburdened himself from the Roottrees name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. Via the power of television, Miracle Jr. spread the gospel across the entirety of New England. He has since left the life of glamour and glitz behind to reach those places that need it most. The power of the Lord coming to a town near you. Below the blurb is a flyer about the tour, which is in your evidence. I will look at that in a minute, because I also want to look up this. Okay, this is literally just the exact same thing. Okay. So, where is... Hello? Okay, ooh. Hello. Yeah, it's like I was saying, generally speaking, when you've got a third, it's because your dad is the second. A flyer for the 3 Generations of Miracles tour. The flyer is a few years old. It comes from 1996. The names listed are Miracle Jr., who is said to be world famous and gets top billing. Miracle Jr. is on the notable Roottrees list. In your evidence, he will be marked on the chart with a star. Miracle Roottrees, who the flyer says will make a special appearance. Miracle III and his wife Nicole, who are said to be the youth pastors. Okay. Actually, let me read through this. Why not? Featuring testimony from world-famous Miracle Jr., special appearance from Miracle Roottrees in his 68th year on God's earth. Children, now welcome. Celebrate with your pastor, Miracle III, and his wife Nicole. Okay. So, you are Miracle the Third. You're also a preacher. And you have a wife called Nicole. Oh, we've got 2. Okay, I'm gonna leave you be. I'm gonna leave you be. Either way, let's... Junior. Well, hey. Now, I've done a lot of the extras. So yeah, this might take a minute. But it's like I was saying before, an avalanche. You know, like, I didn't get anything for a while, but now we have a lot of lock-ins.
You're listening to WRTD.
It's time for your headlines. Once an hour, every hour, on the 45. It's a bizarre development to an already tragic tale. In the wake of the accident that took his life, some of Carl Roottrees' belongings have apparently gone missing. Most notably, a framed photo of the Roottree family from the mid-1970s that Carl had on his office wall. We interviewed a local psychologist about who would do such a thing and why. For that article, search online for WRTD News. Again, that's WRTD.
Okay. Okay, we can absolutely do that. Also, hello. Ooh. Ooh. The Roottrees are dead. Okay. Then Alphabet Davis in the erased names of the Genesis. Alphabet Davies ends and beginnings. Family Doku. Reversus. Okay, apparently we're a big fan of this Alphabet Davis series. Okay. This was very interesting, but yeah, okay. Okay, so we have... Okay, I'm having a moment. But look at all the lock-ins. Look at all the... Well, not over here, but like over yonder. This is looking good. This is looking very good. We have your picture. There we go. Put that in, and... Okay. I was on a roll, and that has just kind of like, oh, what do I do now? What am I up to? Okay, let's... Yeah, I was looking at Miracle Jr. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we should be looking here then. Yeah, I feel like maybe I should look that up now, because otherwise I may forget. Yeah, we'll WRTD. WRTD. Okay. WRTD News is your local investigative jazz radio station. During their news segments at 45 minutes on the hour, they have been talking about the plane crash. This most recent hour, they also talked about a picture taken from Carl's office after the plane crash and promised an interview online with a psychologist. During the interview, it's revealed there wasn't a break-in. Instead, someone with a key to the office took the picture after discovering the pipes burst due to the recent storm. This means it was likely someone close to the family who was aware of the photo's history and wanted to save it. The psychologist, however, also goes on to posit that the culprit had an alternate agenda, specifically because nobody in the family has come forward to say they have it in their possession. A comment below the article says, "Don't believe their lies. This is just another instance of the Roottree curse being a real true thing. I bet you Carl was murdered and the picture had evidence." What the hell is this? There's a long, rambly conspiracy website with very small, very red text on a black background that says the Roottrees are cursed. It has been very recently updated with the following. Important update. With Carl and Brenda and their girls, that makes 5 new deaths. Not only that, but 3 of the 5 presidents of the Roottrees company have died mysteriously. They say Guy's car was hit by a drunk driver in 1982, but nobody was arrested. Then Ernie Madsen Jr. stepped down. Was he poisoned? Now, just this week, Carl died in a plane crash. This cannot be a coincidence. There's another entry that claims if you connect the dots in the pattern of the 5 pieces wrapper, it creates a Mayan ruby skull, a secret message meant to subliminally scare people away. The post before that has a link to a site that talks about how Earth has 4 corner simultaneous 4-day time cubes. The author of this site seems to agree. An entry from a few months ago claims that the owner of the site received an email from Chris Raff75 at prodigy.us asking him to take down his site with fake proof that Ernie Madsen Jr. actually had a heart condition and wasn't poisoned. The owner claims that although the proof looks quite credible, he knows that the proof was fake because he's an expert at creating fake evidence. The first entry is from 1996 and has a blurry picture of the Roottrees Candy Company factory, seemingly taken by the website's author from behind a fence. And through some trees. It seems that... it seems that Operation RT-29 is real. I witnessed a helicopter land on February 29th, 1996. The website footer says all images and ideas by Thomas Overwood. Okay, so we have a few little things here. I know, Rafferty. Did we have... I'm like, there's a blank name. We do have a Chris Rafferty. Well, that has to be this person. That has to be you, but... Yeah, I have thoughts. However, no. I'm about out of time for this episode, so my thoughts will have to wait until the next one. So, until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members, such as SM2K, Christopher K. Davis, CGG, and Kevin Bicknell. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.